Let's go through this because we do have a lot to cover. Yeah. I'll do one of those. All right, so we have this sine of 2 theta equals sine of theta. Now, again, I wanted you guys to try some things, like play around with this. Like, what can you do? And the best thing I look at this is I have two functions, right? And if you guys remember from Algebra 1, Algebra 2, whenever you had two functions that were on either side of the equation, we usually wanted to get them to the same side, correct? So why don't we just get these to the same side? So we have sine of 2 theta minus the sine of theta equals 0. Now, typically, we'd like to combine these. But we recognize these are not the same function or the same angle. Like they're not, we can't combine them. It's kind of like square root of 2x minus the square root of x. They don't have the same radicand, so you can't combine them, right? So, what do we do? Like here, we could obviously, looking into this equation might be actually using the square root or using the inverse operation. But inverse operation isn't really going to help us here with the thetas. Because if you guys remember, when we previously talked about getting rid of this 2 theta, we had to get rid of the sine function kind of first by evaluating this. So we're kind of stuck. But now, if you guys kind of look on the board, you guys can see we have some new formulas where we can actually represent sine of 2 theta using what we call the double angle formula. So that sine of 2 theta is 2 sine of theta cosine of theta minus the sine of theta equals 0. So we can rewrite the sine of 2 theta using this formula that we are now provided. Now, this gives us some options that we are more familiar with, right? Because now we have an equation that, to solve this, we can just factor out a sine of theta. By factoring out a sine of theta, we have cosine of theta minus 1 equals 0. Now we can apply the zero product property. And therefore, cosine of theta equals positive 1/2. OK, so if you don't know the unit circle, you're going to be quickly start getting left behind here. So the sine of theta is equal to 0 at what angles? Think about the unit circle. That's 0 and pi. The cosine of theta is equal to 1/2. That is going to be at, let's see, 1/2. So that's going to be pi over 3 as well as 5 pi over 3. And because I did ask you to find the answers between 0 and 2 pi. So that would be your solution set. Cool.